Resellers, are you ready to see some SuperSize sales? Well, I got them. The sales in this video are from my Facebook group where we have a dedicated thread every month. So make sure you are posting your $100 and over sales in the right place so I can find them for these videos. The sales you'll be seeing are from November 2024. So let's get started. Tammy Mitchell purchased a storage unit. I have 50 cents in this item. Sold in 5 months on best offer of $100 plus shipping. It is an antique cast iron World War I military picture frame, 1917. How about that? And it sold for $100 plus shipping. Steve Gittler bought a large collection of this pattern in an online estate sale auction in September for $895. I've now sold over $3,700 worth between eBay and replacements.com. 6 Meissen blue onion scalloped salad dessert plates with crossed swords. So this lot sold for $100. Tina DeVore, it's been a long dry spell to have a sale to post on this thread, so I didn't want to miss it. Got this in a coat lot I bought from a family friend last summer, so paid about $15. Has taken about a year to sell, but finally got an offer of $100 and sent it on its way. Nashville Predators puffer jacket, men's large, blue logo, vintage NHL coat, $100. Bethany Henderson paid $4, sold on offer of $100 in 2 hours. It's a Johnny Was Bethany blouse size 3X, $4. Turned into $100 in 2 hours. Where else can you do that but on eBay? Janine Joyce, Ralph Lauren Black Label Slip, 100% silk. Checked the slips, shapewear, pajama section on my way to check out. Paid $1.99 at Goodwill. Sold in a few months for asking price of $109 plus shipping. Wow, how about that? $2 turned into $109. Colleen Olson, another big item that I was happy to send. I bought this set for $20 at Goodwill. I had to sort it. It didn't have all the pieces. Sold for full asking price in about a month. $19.95 Connects Big Ball Factory Set. $20 and sold for $109. Kathleen Gifford. Here's another downsizing item from our recent move. We no longer could use this Longaberger set with the wrought iron stand. It's about 20 years old and it sold for full asking price of $110 plus shipping. It sold in 5 days. So there you can see the wrought iron stand with the 2 baskets. It was in her home and she sold it for $110. Zandra Ritter. I paid $3.75 at a thrift store. It sold for $119, shipped within 3 months. Las Vegas Golden Knights hockey jersey size 3X. Excellent. Gail Dimitri. When I first saw this, I thought it was like a vase or a fishbowl, but no, it's a toilet seat. Purchased for $10 at Habitat for Humanity, it was new and sealed, but had to open it to photograph it. Luckily, I did, since there was some pitting on the chrome. I cleaned it and disclosed on listing. Sold in a week. So it's a very odd, unusual toilet seat. Fishing lures, resin, lucite, clear blue acrylic. Isn't that interesting? It sold for $116. Julie Gambino, purchased at Goodwill for $3.99, sold in 2 days for full asking price of $124.49 while the store was on sale. Vintage, mid-century modern, wood captain briefcase attaché. $4 turned into just under $125. Mindy Allen, found in my retirement pile in a tote marked List for Christmas 2022. I think it was purchased at a yard sale for probably $1 or $2. I would not have paid more. I had no idea that it was a sought-after item. Sold in 4 days for full asking price. So even though she was 2 years behind on that, that's okay. It sold for $125. Patricia Cobb Folk Art Hand Carved Santa, signed from 1999. Becky Sanders, found this guy at a thrift store for $2. Listed in September and sold this November for full asking price of $125 plus shipping. I'm not familiar with anime, and it took some time to find a comp, but worth it. I love selling plush. All right, so this is Seal Phantom Hive ES Series Anime Plush. $2, sold for $125. Olivia Frederick, found this sweater when I went thrifting at AmVets on my birthday. They had just rolled out a new cart, and there it was, new with tags, MSRP of $398. Paid $8.72. Listed for $169.99 and sold on best offer for $130 in less than a week. It is a new with tag Eileen Fisher mohair plush V-neck cardigan sweater. So she paid just under $9 and it sold for $130. Rosalie Wygand, free from my mom who downsized this summer. Sold in 1 month for asking price of $132.10. It had a lot of views and watchers, but no one was accepting my offers. So I followed Suzanne's advice and actually bumped up the price, and it sold. Very good, Rosalie. So for the listeners and the watchers, when you have a lot of watchers on an item, raise the price instead of lower it. Because if you lower it, they might wait for you to lower it more. And watchers usually get a notification that the price has changed. So when you bump it up, it creates a sense of urgency. The item is vintage Pyrex nesting mixing bowls, primary colors set of 4, sold for $132.10. Jody Clark paid $25.62 from an online auction for 6 Department 56 wall town sections. Sold in 6 weeks, all to one buyer for $137.46 plus $24.95 shipping. The item is Department 56 town wall sections, Little Town of Bethlehem. Tina Wozniak, sitting and never worn in my dad's drawer. Mom was getting rid of junk jewelry and gave me this. Listed and sold before I even put it in inventory. Sold in 2 minutes. Vintage 1960s 10-carat yellow gold cat's eye men's ring marked JJ. White. Okay, so this was just found and it sold for $140 in 2 minutes. Wow. Leslie Weigel paid $2.99 at a thrift store, sold on offer of $145 after about 8 months. This is a Richard Ginori footed bowl. So Leslie lives in my same town. I wonder where you found it, Leslie. Did I overlook this or did you beat me to it? I met Leslie, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. We met for coffee and she was just a delight. So it's fun to have eBay friends in the same town. Okay, Susie Palmer Grant. This was exciting. I found several Sears wish books at a local pickers market for $6 each. I don't usually shop here, but I'm glad I did. This one sold in a week for $149.90 plus shipping. Expanding my horizons paid off. So we've got an original 1998 Sears Holiday Wish Book Christmas catalog. It was $6 and it sold for $149.90. Robin Parsons bought at a yard sale, $20. My daughter thought I paid too much, but I knew, meaning she knew about this. It sold for $149.95 after 2 months. Vintage Precious Moments Come Let Us Adore Him 11-piece nativity set. $20 and sold for just under $150. George Kelly found this old car horn at an estate sale for $10. Accepted a best offer of $150. Took about 3 months to sell. So there you see antique Stewart Warner hand operated horn. Now it says Ahuga. So is that like the brand or is that the sound it makes? Ahuga. Holly Johnson picked these up at an estate sale for free, sold in about a month. Huge lot of 160 plus vintage Harlequin romance books. So these were free and they sold for $150. Kevin Flanagan paid $15 for the pair at a garage sale. More than I like to pay, but knew my wife would love to keep them if they didn't sell. Took an offer of $150 with shipping and taxes. Buyer was in for a total of $222. Listed above comps and included a video showing it worked, which I believed helped raise the purchase price above the average. It is Telco Animated Motion Santa and Mrs. Claus 24-inch figures and original boxes from 1988. So $15 turned into $150. Janet Turnage. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love church sales. I picked up this 40s era hand-painted tie on my last quick turn around the sale just to make sure I hadn't missed something good. I got really lucky because there was a recent auction of a tie with the same design that went for $165. Otherwise, I would have put it on buy it now for probably $30. I paid 50 cents, sold for $152.50 in a 7-day auction. Vintage 1940s or 50s style craft necktie, butterfly spider web, hand painted. 50 cents, sold for $152.50. Sherry Lynn. Well, this is crazy. Bought these 2 Cabbage design plates at the thrift store for $1. I was thinking of selling them on Marketplace for $15, but on a whim did a Google image search. Wowzers! Cabbage plates go for big money. I posted on eBay for $200 for a set of 2 and within an hour accepted a best offer of $175 plus shipping. So the item is Bordalo Pinheiro Blue Cabbage Luncheon Salad Plate 7-inch. Sold for $200 Canadian. Monica Lima paid $45 at an estate sale, sold for best offer of $175. Super cool hand painted Romanian dollhouse. It had so many great pieces. Nice. The title is Vintage Hand Painted Romanian Dollhouse Folk Art, Furniture, Family, and Accessories. And that is beautiful the way it's painted. Kim Smith paid $19.99 at Goodwill. I contacted Lucchese customer service with photos to get information about the boots. I listed them and they sold a few weeks later. I wanted to keep them for myself, but they were a little too wide. Beautiful, well-made boots. Lucchese Women's 9.5B Mad Dog Goat Western Cowgirl Boots. And they sold for $187.50. Laura Baya found at the bins months ago, so about $1.50, and finally got around to listing it. Took a best offer of $190. Canon PowerShot digital camera, $1.50 and sold for $190. Dina Napoli finally listed the last of the 3 blow molds I got for free at a hoarder house pick last February. This one has the light bulb stuck in it, and I was hesitant to list it since I couldn't get it out. Listed for $199.95, sold for full asking price within an hour. Fast flip, I'll take it. The title is Vintage Polaron Christmas Candle Round Blow Mold 22-inch Ornament Wreath Wall Hanger. So it was free and it sold for just under $200. Next up is Julie Brown. I live 30 miles away from Faribault, Minnesota, where the Faribault blankets are made. I tend to find them quite regularly. I look for the more unique patterns. I've never seen the pink plaid, all wool queen size. I found it at a church rummage underneath a Pendleton blanket for $5. It sold in 4 months for $199.99 plus shipping. So there you see it, Faribault Queen Pink Plaid Pure Wool Blanket. And I've never heard of that brand, but now I know about it, and so do you. Okay, Andrew Silveroli. These old copies of a publication called the Video Files Newsletter were included in a large lot of vintage Atari computer items I won in a local online auction for $50. I did not even know they were in there until I got home and looked through everything. After some research, I knew they'd be worth something to the right buyer. Apparently, they are very early beginnings of what later became a magazine called The Video File in the late 1970s. I had no idea what price to put on them, and I didn't want to risk an auction without knowing the demand, so I threw out a price of $299.99. The next day I received an offer and we ended up settling on $200. So there you can see it's some old ephemera, which means paper. Ephemera actually means things that are produced only to have a short lifespan, so a lot of your paper items. Original vintage 1970s, the Video Files newsletter. $300. Okay, now for our cover photo. Carol Brune. Never thought I'd be peddling diapers, but here we are. Paid a few bucks on the last day of a garage sale. Sold in one day for $235. So we've got some vintage 1989 Huggies super trim diapers in the package. So she took them out of the package to take photos. But who knew? Diapers, $235. Jenny Baum paid $3 at a thrift store, sold for full price in 5 weeks to a buyer in Alaska. I'm very thankful that Suzanne taught me about this BOLO. Well, you are quite welcome, Jenny. I mean, down the road somebody taught me about it, so just sharing the joy. So we've got a baby Morgan blanket with the balloons, acrylic waffle weave. And I like how she did her picture with the overlay of the label. So you can see both the balloons, the blanket, and the label. Sold for $255.55. Cost her $3. Okay, Tamarin McClure. I got this at my local thrift store for $3, sold in 1 month for best offer of $260 with free shipping. Vintage Snoopy banner. The moon is made of American cheese from 1969. Okay, here's a coincidence about this item. As I was reading through the $100 sales thread, I saw this. And then maybe the next day, I was scrolling through some online auctions and saw a whole bunch of these. So I watched them and then did the research and unfortunately did not win any of them because the prices went up so high it was not worth flipping. But I didn't know about these and there's a whole bunch of different ones. They're different colors, they're different Peanuts characters, there's different sayings on them. So these are quite in demand and they're collectible. So be on the lookout for them. Okay, Shelley Carpenter Wood. Free to me. I have my entire eBay store 50% off to reduce inventory and make some much needed money. I am still happy. This is a Howard Miller Thomas Tompion mantle clock. $300. What a great sale. Anne Rice picked up 3 of these leadership programs at my local thrift for $16 each. One was sealed and the other 2 weren't, but they were still new. The first one sold for $399 and this one sold for $424. I increased the price. Each one took only a week to sell. Possibly underpriced, but I'm fine with the sale. The third one is still listed. The item is Bob Proctor Thinking into Results Program for Leaders Workbook. And this one sold for $424. Next up is Leslie Kidd. Picked these up from a local used bookstore. These first edition without of print cover art are very sought after. Not sure what she means there. Anyway, both hardcover and paperback. Paid $2 a book, so $16 total. Sent an offer of $450, which was accepted. The books are Throne of Glass, Sarah J. Maas, first edition, out of print cover art. $450. Okay, Kathy Kepke has a highly coveted item. Purchased at Goodwill for $15, sold in 24 hours. I was priced significantly lower because I did not have the box or paperwork. Danbury Mint English Bulldog Electric Lighted Christmas Tree Retired with Star. Sold for $649.99. She paid $15. Excellent. Okay, Jomira Kukan sold for $750 plus shipping within 6 minutes upon listing. This is one of my fastest sales. I paid $60 for it on Facebook Marketplace. I keep on thinking I underpriced it, but I can hear Suzanne saying someone might have an alert for it. This is a vintage mahjong set butterscotch Catalan Bakelite tiles with 5 racks. Sold for $750. She paid $60 for it. And I do want to apologize for my phone blowing up in the background. Normally I don't have the sound on, but my dad is still in the hospital and we have this family text, like a group text going, and apparently everybody's liking and commenting on stuff, and I forgot to turn it off. So I'm not going back to record this video over again. The phone is in the other room blowing up, and I apologize for that. Okay, Stephanie Croquez purchased fabric in a giant lot for $40 over 3 years ago. Took a while, obviously, but sold this month and went back to France. And Stephanie talked about this in her recent podcast. So if you want to hear the whole story, go check that out. But anyway, this is 5 yards of embroidered, crewel, Brunswick and Fills linen fabric design. Okay, folks, get ready. It sold for $925.50 for some fabric. Joy Archuleta. My best sale since I started selling 3 years ago. I paid up for these initially at $20 each for a total of $240. I took a best offer of $1,100 after about 3 weeks. Profit was approximately $700. I bought approximately 12 other elves at this sale and sold most of these from 50 to 120. Not super quick sellers, but steady. There are quite a few collectors. So, the item is Mark Roberts' 12 Days of Christmas Elves limited edition complete set with the box. So the name you want to remember is Mark Roberts. That is the brand. And these sold for $1,100. Okay, we're going to end with KC. He says, it's embarrassing to say how long this sat in my death pile. It had to be at least 2 years. Paid only $10 at the thrift and sold for full price of $1,495 in about 2 months after finally getting it listed. It is a Sony Super Betamax complete with remote and tested. Okay, I have to tell the story that yes, we had one of these in our house growing up. My mother thought it was just be the greatest thing to have our own way to watch movies. She didn't have to take 4 kids to the theater. So when the Betamax came out, we got one. I think it was like $1,000. It was ridiculous. And used it for a while. And then they came out with VHS. So we switched over to that. But we did have the Betamax, and the problem was, like when you'd go to rent the videos from the video store, they didn't have anything in Betamax. Everything was VHS, so that technology was preferred. But yes, we did have the Betamax, and like all the neighborhood kids would come over and watch movies, and we were kind of on the cutting edge of the technology. I think we were the first ones in the neighborhood to get a microwave because my mom was kind of like all about shortcuts and doing things faster. I guess with 4 kids, she had to be that way. But anyway, raise your hand if you remember the Betamax or if you had one, because here we go. All these years later, still worth money. Okay, as usual, those are some fantastic sales, everybody. Keep up the great work. And since this is the last video of 2024, man, that year went by quick. I'm wishing all of you a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. See you next time. Happy selling. Bye-bye.